Greetings and welcome to my new calculus channel. My name is John Gabriel. And so in today's not so long video, I'm going to talk about the new calculus derivative and some of the things that people have been telling me. So here's a person called Andy who says that um, no secant line can have m plus n equals to 0, only the tangent line. So interesting, he says, so it's the power of geometry, just the fact that the secant is parallel to the tangent allows us to go from m and n not equal to 0 to m n equal to 0. So I said no. Let's see the answer to that. I said no. That actually never happens. And by the way, to those who don't understand these concepts, have been around for years now, you can learn more about the new calculus by downloading my free book. It explains what m and n are and all these concepts in very fine detail. So if you don't feel like reading that, that's your problem. But don't get on my comment section and ask me to explain it to you because it's been done many, many times over. And if you're lazy, that's just too bad because I'm not going to explain it to you again. But I am going to explain why this statement here, go from m comma n not equal to 0 to m equal to n0, never happens. Okay, so let me explain as well as I can. When we change the form of the difference quotient, this difference quotient, let's write it down. This here in the new calculus gives us the derivative exactly. Okay, let's write it down. Okay, so when we change that to f of x plus q of xmn, like that, there is no m plus n. There's no mn in here anymore. The m and n's are only in this expression here. Okay, so the way I answered this is I said, we don't need q of x mn, and for all intents and purposes, the actual value of m and n is irrelevant at this point. That is, after we've found the tangent line slope and the difference. It's irrelevant because we know it's 0 in the new calculus. In your bullshit formulation where I gave you a rigorous identity, which I call the historic theorem, that is f of x plus h minus f of x over h is equal to f dash of x plus q of xh. This here can never be 0 unless f is linear, okay? Which is the only time this is true in your bogus mainstream formulation of calculus. Okay, otherwise, q of x h is never equal to 0. But here, this is always equal to 0, okay? So, but in any case, it doesn't matter because even in my historic theorem, this is the difference. So you can just toss it away. It doesn't matter what x and h is, in fact, because we don't care about the difference. We care about the derivative, which my theorem tells you is the expression that contains no factors of h. So it's very well formed. It's very well thought out. It's absolutely genius, okay? Nobody before me was able to do this. And they've tried in many ways to detract from my efforts and to say that they've done it, even as far as some idiot Marcus Cliver from Sweden saying it's the same as the fundamental increment lemma, which I call the excrement lemma because it's not even a lemma at all. It's just a load of garbage. And when you read that entry on Wikipedia, you don't see anything about slope, and it's not stated in the way that my theorem is stated, because my theorem does not use the circular bullshit of limits. There are no limits in the new calculus or in the new historic theorem, both in the derivative and the new integral definitions. There's no use of limits, okay? So what I'm telling you here is that we don't need q of x m n in the new calculus, and for all intents and purposes, the actual value of m and n is irrelevant at this point, unless we want to do something fancy with the auxiliary equation, which is obtained by setting x equal to 0. And you can see some really nifty examples of that in the introduction. So you can see you can do a lot of things with this, and a lot of people around the world have used this It's useful in so many different fields of science, in image recognition, in engineering, in so many other things. So, uh, and there's practically nothing you can do with q of x h because it's not equal to zero. And I mean, it's just a difference in slopes. That's all it is. And there's nothing more you can do with it. But because the new calculus is such a rigorous, ingenious formulation, it leads to another incredible subfield, which is the auxiliary equation and the things that you can do with it. Because calculus is geometric, by the way. Newton and Leibniz didn't know what the shit they were doing. They could not provide methods or proof for why their rather proof for why their methods work. They did not know why they could do what they did and get the right answer. Not even until I came along did anyone know. I mean, yes, they came up with this shit later on, pretending to have rigorized calculus, but they never did any such thing. I mean, they came up with this garbage here. So this is f of let's see here, uh, c plus delta minus f of c over delta minus f prime of c, which they call L, by the way, which is the same thing, less than epsilon. So they came up with this BS here that you see over here, which doesn't actually rigorize calculus. All it says is that as one distance decreases, the other distance also decreases, and it implies that we approach a certain limit. That's all it says in very basic terminology. Okay. So it's a load of bullshit, which you don't need to know about. And of course, it uses logic, which is not part of mathematics, by the way. Like I said in a previous video, in mathematics, if predicate, then conclusion is always true. It means if the predicate is true, the conclusion is true. If the predicate is false, the conclusion is false. You don't get anything in set theory in real mathematics, which says uh, if the moon is bright, I will find $20, and it's true that you'll find $20. Nope, that sort of bullshit doesn't work in mathematics. It only works in Jewish fables, in set theory, in which there is no mathematics, by the way, only bullshit. So, um, those of you who are still struggling with these concepts, you don't know what you're missing out because you've missed out so much else. For example, have you even gotten to the new calculus integral? Have you seen how incredible that looks? How simple it looks? How elegant? How powerful? That it works without limits? Have you even come to that part yet? Or are you still battling like the idiots Jean-Pierre Massager of Psi.Math and that incorrigibly stupid little dimwit Marcus Cliver and Zelos Malem from Sweden? Are you still battling like those fools are? Are you still being persuaded? So, oh, and there's one more thing I'd like to address. Some idiot told this person, fine, you want a parallel secant line, but how do you know it's parallel without first knowing f prime? Well, guess what? Euclid showed this over 2,400 years ago. What am I doing here? I actually just want a new window. So let's clean this out here. And I'll show you very quickly how stupid mainstream academics are. So if you have a curve like that in a tangent line, how do you know there is a parallel line? There is a parallel secant line to this tangent. Well, I could put a point anywhere I like. It doesn't even have to be in relation to the function. And Euclid tells us that we can draw a line parallel through that point to the tangent line. Okay. So there is always a parallel line. I mean, that's not even a relevant objection. It's just syphilitic mainstream bullshit, which they try to use in order to rubbish the new calculus, which shows what a bunch of ignorant, stupid morons they are. The new calculus is so powerful, it has even better methods for the Jacobian, better explanations for Green's theorems. In fact, it has perfect explanations for Green's theorem for finding irregular areas, irregular volumes. It is the most powerful calculus ever imagined by a human being. And guess what? I discovered it first. That means I'm a hell of a lot smarter than you are and anybody else, okay? And whether you like it or not, it doesn't change the fact that it's true. So when I get on this channel and I make videos, I don't give a shit whether you're going to agree with me or not. I'm going to tell you the things as I see them, which I know them to be true. I do not conform to the Church of Math Academia. The high priests do not rule me. I'm not waiting to get a degree from fucking morons, because they're all morons as far as I'm concerned. Even the brightest. They're Abel Prize winners, they're field medals winners. They're all a bunch of fucking idiots compared to my intelligence. And yes, I do use foul language. I hate those people. Um, and my hate is very logical. They've destroyed my life. So I'm going to hate them, and I'm going to make sure that they're remembered on the right side of history, which in reality is the wrong side. Okay, so now, if you're not already a subscriber, become one, right? Click like on these videos, because many mainstream shit holes will come on my channel and just downvote the video without even watching it. So you don't want that to happen. You want these videos to be available to everyone. Just like I've revealed the truth to you, you want everyone else to know the truth, especially young, unpolluted minds. I don't care about the old fools, especially the old math professors and teachers. They're all dead wood, in my opinion. They're good for nothing. I mean, incinerate the whole lot and throw them away. That's their worth, in my opinion. So become a follower on academia, this site here, to which I shall provide a link. And I'll also provide a link to to my profile, okay, and to a donation, to a GoFundMe donation. I could use even a few dollars, but if you ask yourself, you'll see that my the truth that I revealed to you is worth much, much more than just a few dollars. You spend thousands and you get into debt to the tune of thousands for an education that is not worth shit, from Harvard, from MIT, from all the best universities. Their degrees are worthless crap. And here I am giving you the truth, and I get libeled, called a narcissist, a psychopath, a foul-mouthed person, which I don't care if they call me that. Sometimes I am. Yep, that's pretty much it. So I think I've run out of things to say. It's a good place to stop instead of rambling on and on. I'm John Gabriel, and this is a new calculus channel. Till next time, goodbye.